Yeah. Hi, everybody. This is Joanne Eisen with Reach the Unlimited, and I'm alone this week. I promised everybody, well, a couple people, that I would do some shows by myself, and this is the week that I picked for that. And I hope everybody's doing well and getting through this life as easily as possible, killing a little time here. But anyway, I have a subject that I wanted to talk about. And as you know, I put on the description, who is your best advisor? So we all have people in our lives that we trust to guide us, give us information, we listen to, help us, whatever, advisors that we would look to help us through maybe more difficult times or situations that we may not be an expert at. And one of the things that I've been going through, and I've been talking to a lot of people too over the past couple of weeks that have been talking about how they don't feel motivated, they don't feel like they're, able to change things in their life, they don't feel like they're going in the right direction, they feel like they're stuck. Is this something to do with the energy in the universe, with the moon, with whatever? There's so many things that we put on why we feel a certain way, or something that may be causing us to feel a certain way. And I know I've been kind of in that same kind of thing. I haven't felt motivated. It's like, every day is the same day. I feel like I'm in, a circle of doing the same thing over and over and over again. And I'm not really doing things that are different or coming outside of my comfort zone or challenging myself. I am doing that. But overall, in general principle, I just feel like I'm doing the same thing over and over again. I do like to challenge myself, though. That is one of my big favorite things to do, is to come out of my comfort zone and challenge myself. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm going to do that. But, we do get in this rut, right, of our everyday activities. And it's hard sometimes to break out of that. But in that rut as well, we often have the same program that plays in our head. And today is open for conversation. So you guys totally can chime in here. Sometimes when I have a guest and we're in a really, flow of conversation or a deep conversation, even though you guys are there, I don't mean to ignore you. I am watching what's going on and what you're saying. And sometimes if I can fit it in, I will. But when I have a guest on and I'm really into a conversation, then I kind of feel it's rude to go back and forth with the chat. But if it is pertinent, I have used it, as you guys know. But overall, today is free day. So if you have anything that you want to add to this, or if you have anything you want to talk about, please feel free to put that in there. But right now, I want to talk about how when we get into situations like that in our life where we feel like we're not moving forward, or we're not really being as productive as we wanted to be, or we're in a funk in some way, we often wonder what's going on and why is this happening. And it's sometimes very hard to come out of it. It's sometimes very hard to understand the whole bigger picture to what's going on. And one of the things that I realized, I went on my trip to see my family. And when I got back, I had so much work, as I was gone for so long. I had so much work that I had to catch up on. And I just felt like every day I couldn't do anything but keep working forward to get everything done that I needed to get done. And I'm still catching up, quite frankly. I'm better now, but I still have things that I still need to get accomplished. But one of the things that I wasn't doing was taking the time for myself. And I would promise some of my buds that would nag me about that. Yes, I'm going to go and do my walking, or I'm going to go back to the gym or whatever. And I just kept on pushing forward. And I got into this routine where every day I would get up in the morning, I would do my morning routine and get right to work. And I felt like I couldn't get out of that. I just was being so focused, but it wasn't healthy for me. I was not listening to the right voice within my head to keep balance in my life, because we have to keep balance. But what I want to talk to you about today is, with having advisors, we actually have, and if you guys are here, if you want to put in the chat who you think your most influential advisor is in your life, please do that. Whether this is on the live or not, put who in your life is the most influential advisor in your life, or the most influential person that you're going to listen to the most. And one of the things that I realized, because I have people too that I trust and that I will go to with my questions, or if I have an issue, or help me to kind of like, balance things out and figure out which end is really up. We all have those people. But the biggest one that we have that we believe and that we trust the most is the advisor in our head, the one who talks to us, the one who we have arguments with, the one that we will make deals with, the one who we tell to shut up and go away, and they don't. That part of us that talks to us on a regular basis. And I think that's one of the biggest ones that we have a love-hate relationship with. It's one that we don't quite totally understand, and it's one that we give a lot of power to. And that's something that I've really been seeing and learning over the past, for years now. I've really been learning that we give way too much power to that advisor in our head. And you know the one I'm talking about, because we all know it. That one that will tell us, why did you do that? Did you have to do that? That person doesn't really like you. That person is mad at you, or whatever the story is that part of our brain tells us. Oh, we didn't do that good enough. Oh, you were wrong in that. And we give a lot of credence to that voice in our head. We give a lot of strength to that voice in our head that can take us actually down. And a lot of people do, right? We can go into some pretty hard times when we're listening to that critic within our head, the one that is really giving us misinformation, or is or telling us that we're not good enough, or reliving old stories within our head that aren't the truth anymore. The other thing that it will do too is help you to be a procrastinator. I don't know if any of you've done this, but I have. I need to get something done. Well, I'll wait until, or I'm not ready to, or maybe I can do it the next day, or it's too late now. These things that we play in our head, especially when it's something that we really want to do, but we're afraid to do, or something we're unsure of, or something that we feel uncomfortable with, then we definitely will have a procrastination going on in our heads, right? Oh, I'll have all kinds of excuses when I'm feeling uncomfortable about doing something. But that's not the good part of us. That's that ego part of us that's telling us that we have a lot of reasons to be fearful to move forward. We have something to maybe be doubtful of or uncertain of. And so we need to keep ourselves safe. So if we keep ourselves safe, then we're going to stay over here in this camp, and we're not going to go to the area that we really want to go and explore. So procrastination is a big part of what that little chatter, that great advisor in our head who wants to keep us safe, are also a part of that. Excuse me. We have smoke that's coming in today from the Northern California and also from our mountain range. And it's been pretty thick today in our area. We've had a very grayish day because our clouds are just covered in smoke today, which we haven't really had too much until today. So the wind is definitely blowing it our way, and I'm feeling it. So, but that part of us in our mind that keeps us in fear, it's thinking that it's keeping us safe. It's the part of you that is keeping control of your life, and that we're allowing to have control of our life, right? We are always in control of what's happening. And when that happens, we're procrastinating, or we're not doing something that we really think we should be doing or want to do. In a lot of cases, it could even be things that we want to do, but we're not doing because of fear or because of failure, which is still fear. And so that part of us is keeping us and holding us back from moving forward. So, procrastination is a big thing that comes out of that chatter that happens within our mind, or what I'm now calling the influencer of my mind. The other part is those stories of, I'm not good enough. I can't do it. I'm not qualified to do it. I need more education. I need to be able to do it perfectly before I do it. I'm not doing it perfectly yet, so therefore I'm going to wait a little longer. All of these things also comes from that same place, that part of you that has, and you know the one, it's like, I don't know, all of us have this, right? Where, in fact, I just had a conversation about this with someone this morning. I asked about a friend of mine who I haven't talked to, and I reached out and hadn't heard anything back. So I asked another friend of mine, how is this person doing? And her response back was basically, just having issues, and it's not personal. she didn't say it that way, but that's really what she said. And I'm like, what? I didn't ask that. I wasn't taking it personally. It's just, I was curious about her. But see, then my mind goes into all this story about, is she taking it personally? Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I offended her, or maybe we go into this whole big story to make another story out of something that never happened. And I don't know about you, but I actually have had this happen a couple of times in the past couple of weeks where something did happen and I made up this whole big story. And then the person calls shortly after you made up the story, and it's not even close to being the story. That's our mind. That's that influencer in our mind that really isn't our friend, it is there to protect us, but it's not one that we need to give a lot of credence to. We give a lot of power and authority to that part of us because we're not paying attention to what is really going on there. And it really is a protector, and we have to know that. It is a way to protect us, and it is a way to help us to feel like we're in control of something that a lot of times in our world, we're not in control of what happens, right? Even if this person that I was concerned about was mad at me, I can't control that person's feelings. I can control my feelings. I can control how I respond to things, but I can't control other things. And so that's, I think, a part of this whole dynamic that we play is, this chatter that goes into our mind that we actually listen to. And I'm sure we've all had these things happen. We make up stories about things that aren't really real. So sorry, somebody's talking to me. One of the things that I've really been working on for quite a long time is how do you control that part of it? Because one of the things that's hard for us to do, one, detach from that part of our thinking because it's real. It's something that goes on. No matter what we do, it's always going on. Two, how do we control it? How do we not make that as the primary influencer in our life? How do we shut that down or know how to shut that down in a faster way so we don't go into a rabbit hole or we don't go into a I can't week or day or month or year? I mean, there's so many things that we do in different degrees that maybe we wanted to do and we haven't done it. I mean, there's something I've been wanting to do for 10 years and I just started doing it recently. It's like, and then you always look back and you're like, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do this sooner? It's really what makes me happy. It's really something that's fun. But yet we go for however long it is, years, days, minutes, however long it is that we don't do it. And once we actually step into it, we're like, well, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Or wow, that really is amazing. Or it's something, that we don't want to do. And we're like, well, it wasn't as bad as we thought it was. So one of the things that I think is the biggest hang up to that is that we become too attached to that thinking. We become too involved with that thinking instead of being the observer. And we always hear about being the observer of our thoughts, being the observer of our lives, and not being so attached. What does that really mean? How do we not be attached to our thoughts? How do we not be attached to the things that happen in our life? How do we be the observer of our life and not be connected? Well, it comes to, where are you living from? Who are you giving the power to? Are you giving the power to your thoughts on that part of your ego mind who's wanting to keep you safe and wanting to keep you comfortable where you're at? Or is it being a part of that soul part of you, that conscious part of you? That's your soul. That's the being of who you are really and what you're here to do and accomplish. And when you're connected to that part of you, then your life goes in a different direction, because now you're not totally attached to, am I going to be accepted or not accepted? Am I going to be loved or not loved? Am I going to be looked at or laughed at? Am I going to be wrong or am I going to be right? Am I going to be whatever? You put the meaning to that. But when we're the observer of our life, when we are now detached from that part of ourselves, we're not giving the power to that mind, to that thinking, that's when we can start changing our life. That's when we can start shifting. Like this morning, I thought, you know what? The whole week, really, seriously, I'm sorry. I'm going to be truthful here. Vulnerability is not one of my strengths, but I'm going to do it now. It's one of those things that I didn't want to do all week. Like I said, I just felt overwhelmed. I was stressed with all the things I needed to get done. I'm not moving, which I am a big workout fanatic. And I know how important it is to our body, but yet I kept on dismissing that and putting it aside so I could push paper or get one more thing done, when every day it's the same thing, and it could go that way for years if we allow it, because we never finish everything. But today I got up and I sat there and I thought, am I going to listen to myself? Or am I going to actually do what I know is in my best interest? And my best interest is to get my ass out the door and start moving. And how many of us don't do that? How many of us just sit there and say, I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a better day. I won't be so overwhelmed. I won't be so whatever. And you know, the thing about it, it's like with procrastination, the more you don't do it, the more you don't do it. It's like you just now have more and more reasons to not do what it is that you want to do, or more and more lethargic, or your mind becomes more and more slushy because you're not moving, you're not doing. Hi, Jacqueline. Hello, you beautiful. So, you know, we become more and more complacent. I know, right? We get to the point where we don't have a choice. Get your ass moving or you're really going to be in trouble. And really, seriously, I agree. Yes. Spirit always has our back, always. But yet we think in our mind, and it's all the chatter. I mean, that's really what I want us all to realize. This is the influencer in our mind. This is the biggest influencer of our life, is what we chatter in our mind, the stories we tell ourselves, and believe it without any backing, without any support. We just believe it, and we don't have to believe it. Just because it's in our mind and it's speaking doesn't mean that we have to listen. It just means that we have to control what's going on, because we can be our own worst enemy. We all know that we can. So this morning, I'm like, you know what? I know that if I want to have a good day, I need to get my ass out that door and I need to start walking. And that's what I did. And I had the most amazing time. And what do you do every time you know there's something you should be doing and you don't do it? You're like, why the hell did I not do this sooner? Why did I stop? Why do I not make this a priority? Why am I not looking at this as one of the priorities in my life? And then you get back into the habit of it, right? It was getting me out of the habit because I was away, so I wasn't doing it for quite a long period of time. I came back. I had to catch up on everything. So there was my excuse there. Before you know it, it's a month later. And what have you done? And during that month, I was like feeling horrible. I was feeling lethargic. I was feeling like my back was hurting because most of my work is sitting on my butt. And it's just a really horrible situation. So I had to finally say, I am not going to let my mind, that chatter with my, okay, you know, it's okay. You can do it one more day. I mean, time is really important, and you know that you got to get this stuff done. So get this stuff done and don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will be here and you can do it tomorrow. And then every day is another tomorrow. And this is just, I mean, exercise is different. We all, you know, have this love-hate relationship with exercise, but it's everything that we do that with. It's all aspects of our lives that we don't face. But the thing about it is that when we are able to step back from that chatter, don't be the chatter. Don't be connected to the chatter. We have to listen to the chatter. It's in our mind, so we can't get away with that. But we could step back from the chatter. And I don't know if this sounds like crazy talk to you, but I understand what's going on, because one of the things that I do for my medium, and a lot of everything I'm learning too, I mean, I'm telling you, if you never become an actual practicing medium, developing a mediumship teaches you so much about life and who you are as a person. It's amazing. But the one thing that I know is that when I'm sitting in the power with spirit, I'm getting to know who I am through my soul, not through my person. And that helps me to realize what part is me, my ego mind, and what part is really my conversation with spirit. Because I do have my team that I talk to and talks to me. Call me crazy or not, I don't care. I do talk with my spiritual team, but I know what that feels like. And it's very much different than that conversation I have with my human mind, right? Because that's more of that chatter. That's more of the, well, it's almost like, if you remember when you're kids, if you had kids or when you were a kid and you used to bicker with your brothers or sisters, or your children would bicker together, that's what goes on in our mind. It's like the and you know, and then the funny thing about it is, if I don't know if you guys notice this, but I do, like when you do something and you have this chatter going on, and then you see that it's wrong, that part of your mind will still take another side. It will still tell you, like, see, I told you so, or you should have looked at it that way. It's always so helpful for us. And it is something that is important because we do learn from that. And we're also, it's a way of filtering life, filtering what's going through our experiences and how we're experiencing that. Yeah, I know, right, Jacqueline? Oh my God, the things that we didn't know. Allowing and surrender, the allowing and surrender and awareness. Because really all this is like when we're doing mediumship, people ask, you know, can you talk to a spirit at any time? Can we talk to any spirit? Everybody has different beliefs. Mine is, yeah. All you're doing is merely taking your awareness from this period of time and putting it to that soul, putting it to the communication to that energy. Because everything we do, thought is energy. Your actions are energy. Everything is energy. So where you put your awareness in that energy is the energy that you create, which again is law of attraction, right? It's the manifesting of energy. If you're going to put a negative energy out, you're going to get a negative energy back. But it's merely where you're putting your thought, where that energy is going. And if you're going to stay on the bickering or the I can'ts or the I'm just in a slump or I'm just stuck here or my chakras are stuck or my whatever isn't working, right? I mean, there's so many things and it's all the same thing, right? We call it many different names and depending on whatever your belief system is, but it all comes back to everything is energy. And how we look and use that energy is how we're able to move forward. So if you're going to sit and think about that influencer within your mind being the sole, I think, director of your life, the only one who can help you, then you're wrong, because that's your ego. That's the part of you that's human, that's going to keep control of your life, keep you safe, and also keep you in basically a rut of whatever you've been doing, because that's safe. Your ego likes to be where it knows, where it's comfortable. Where spirit, though, if you're within your soul, your spirit being, then you're standing back looking at your life as the observer of your life. And I know one thing, when I was... My apologies. Mine too. Siri's talking to me. When I worked with Colette Baron-Reed, one of the things that she always said was to be the observer of your life. And I used to thought, oh, I love that. But I didn't really understand it then as I do now. And I think that's a process of our growth, right? It's being able to understand things deeper and deeper as we use those tools and we go along. But to be the observer of your life means that you're not engaged. So one of the things that is interesting to do is listen to the conversations within your mind. Listen to how it's talking to you. Is it talking to you in a way that you know is your ego? Because you can tell the difference. When I'm talking to spirit, I can tell the difference from when I'm talking to my own inner dialogue. And that's come from sitting in meditation, sitting in the quiet, the stillness. I know now what it feels like. And so I can a lot quicker, doesn't mean I don't still do it, but I can catch that dialogue, but test that dialogue. Like, have a conversation with your mind. Have the kind of conversation that you normally have and see how it feels within yourself. And then sit in the quietness where there is no conversation going on and see how that feels. And then be open to spirit talking to you, because spirit is always there to guide us. But the interesting thing about it is not about the practice. It's about being the observer of how it feels or how you're moving along. How is this working for you? And so I feel like one of the things that has been really helpful for me, that helps me to stay in my lane more, not that we do it perfectly, because we're human beings and we're still going to be triggered or react, because a lot of it, I got to go back one more minute. So one of the things that happens, though, is that we could be triggered. And the trigger is, we know that when trauma or situations happen in our life, our nervous system picks it up. We don't just slough it off. It doesn't all just go away. It all is a part of who we are. It's all like, I feel like we're a big thing of tape or whatever that had sticky around it. We're just rolling through life and we're just picking up all these experiences. But the experiences that we have are developing who we are, but it doesn't define who we are unless we allow it to define who we are. Like one of the things that happened to me when I was a little kid was I was hit by a truck. And I don't think about this often, or I don't even know if I've ever talked about it. But I didn't allow that moment to define me. I could be afraid to jump in the street, or I could be afraid to walk down the street or drive a car or whatever. It doesn't. But I am totally aware that that incident is still in my nervous system. So there are certain things I think that I'm going to be a little more hyper aware of because of that experience than probably anybody else would be, because of my experience would be different than your experience. So each one of our experience help develop the momentum of the forward motion that we're going. But when we don't attach to those experiences, they're developing who we are as a person, but it's not really who we are as a soul. It's just our experience here. So when we are able to detach from it, be the observer of our life and move forward, we always have to be mindful. And that's what you would call the triggers. When you have a trigger to something, then that's what's being set off. So if somebody says something to you, or you're offended by something or angry about, and good too. I mean, this isn't just bad. I'm just talking about the bad right now because that tends to be the direction we go. But it could be good or bad. Those triggers are being set off by an experience that you've had that's similar to the one you're having now. And so when you can be the observer of a situation in your life, like something happens and you're triggered, then that's when you go into, why was I triggered? Because this isn't about the person who did it to you, whatever it is, good or bad. It's not about that. What it's about is, how did you react to it? As the observer, how do I want to handle this the next time? So you start unpacking, why did I handle it this way? Because I really do believe Debbie Forbes was an amazing person. She passed years ago, who did a lot of mirror work, shadow work. And really that's what you're doing, is you're going back into that shadow work, right? What are those things about you that you've experienced that are causing you to be triggered in a good way or a bad way? And how do you mitigate that through your experience and the way that you react in life? That's really what we're here to do, is be able to maneuver through that. So don't put a lot of trust into that influencer in your mind that's just wanting to protect you and keep control of your life. It's about standing back and looking at, okay, fine, I'm triggered by this. I know that I have this direction that I'm going, or I'm wanting to continue down this habit, this mind chatter that's going on. I totally didn't finish something. Let me go back 1 minute. When I was saying about the going for the walk today and how I was stuck at not doing it, I was becoming more lethargic. One of the things that happens when you shift into doing the thing that's really the best for you, it's like, you know how we can get really like, I'm in this funk and I can't do anything and I don't know how to get out of it and I don't know what to do. We kind of all of us get into that funk. And then you have like a friend, if one of my buds call and say, hey, let's go do this. Let's go spend some time together. Then all of a sudden you're energized, right? You get really excited about it. And that's what happened today. I came home from my walk and I was very energized. I was ready to start the day. I just had a plan of how I was going to knock things out. And I feel like I, in a lot of ways, was more productive today than when I've been into the funk that I've been into, the routine that I've been into. So there's something to that. There's something to getting out of it by not sitting there and feeling sorry for yourself. And it's not easy. I'm not saying any of this is easy. We all have this, we all have this battle to deal with. We all are overcoming this human mind, and we have to do it within our own self. And we have to do it also with the support of the people around us. That's really important, but also making friends with that part of you. So I'm not saying that this influencer is a bad thing. It is a very big part of why we're here, because it's teaching us about many different aspects of life and how we can be better at it. At every time we have an experience. It's teaching us more and more about the things that we do and don't like. And the things that we do like are the things that you attach onto and say, I want more of that. And then you focus on that. And the things that you don't like are the things that you try not to focus on. And you go into the things that you do like. So when we are coming into our inner work, right? It's about going in and finding out what are the things that we are triggered about that we know. And you know that through what's going on in your chatter, right? I'm not feeling motivated to move forward in my life to create this business I want to create. I'm not feeling motivated enough to maybe change something. You've started a business and now you have to change something within your website or your plan or whatever to bring more business in, but I'm procrastinating at that. Or I want to be able to travel around the world and I'm afraid to travel by myself, or I'm afraid of COVID, so I'm not going to travel at all. And I'm not saying this is good or bad. I'm just giving examples. But we can to get stuck into I'm going to put it off for tomorrow, because we're afraid of it, instead of facing that fear. Because once we face that fear, then we're breaking that nervous system pattern. We're putting ourselves back to, I'm in control of my life and I'm going to live it to the best of my ability. So it's not that ego part of you is bad. It's that we allow that ego part of us to overrun our life. And that's the balance that we have to get to. So being the observer is, oh, yay. Put your website there, Jacqueline. Tell everybody what your website is. We come back to the point, right, where we're living our life, we're handling it, we're taking care of it. Now, there's sometimes, okay, one of the things that happened to me in my childhood is I was always wrong about something. I'm just leaving it at that. I was always wrong about something. I never could do anything right. I never was smart enough. I never was good enough. I never was anything. So that taught me two things. One, I'm not very smart and I'm not capable. But two, damn it, I'm not going to let people step on me. And so I was like, and then I got into a marriage that was like 2 marriages. Sorry, I've been married twice. I'm proud of that. I had 2 great experiences to learn what I don't want in a relationship. So I went into these relationships, and by the time I came out of it, my favorite word was, or phrase was, I'm not going to be a doormat. I'm not going to be a doormat. No. And there's many reasons to that. But the thing about it is those kinds of phrases comes from an insecurity or overcompensation for something, right? And this came from my nervous system from my past. It came from my nervous system of the relationship I had within my family dynamics. It came from my experience of being in school and, being not that, anybody who knows me, I like to challenge things. So I would challenge a lot and ask a lot of questions, and people would get really frustrated with me. And that was just my lot in life. So I developed this like knee-jerk reaction that I was bad, that I wasn't going to let anybody take advantage of me. But again, that comes back to, I'm trying to control the situation. I have this dialogue within my brain that's telling me nobody's going to take advantage of me. I'm not going to be bulldozed over. I'm going to take control of my life. And I'm also going to be afraid of all of it, quite frankly. And so it really took a lot of work for me. And that's doing that inner work. That's doing that shadow work, or the mirror work, about what is triggering me. What part of me is not being heard? What part of me is still afraid of being the authentic me that I would be? And that's where you go back in and you give that party you love, because really the only thing that is going to keep us, I think, out of being that mind chatter craziness is to go into your heart space, because your heart space is really your true brain. This brain up here is not your brain. Your heart is. And there's many sayings about following your heart, being led by your heart. Listen to what your body's telling you, which is coming from your heart. It's all coming from the true center spot of who we are. And if we can function from the heart space and not from the mental space, then that's when we're going to be able to make better choices, because that's when you realize, because I walk away is not being a doormat. It's saying, you're not worth me going through this hassle with. I need to honor and respect myself because I don't need to be in a battle. I love myself to know who I am and that I don't need to be going through your drama or your experience or your chaos to make me feel better because I'm better than you, or I got it faster than you, or however we want to like compare ourselves to each other. It's staying within my own lane. You be you. Bless you, because we never, no matter how hard we try, we never change other people. We may try to change other people, but we can never change other people. And the more that we understand that, the more that we don't have to have that ownership to change somebody, because ultimately what we're doing when we want to change somebody else is change ourselves. And it never works. We have to change ourselves within ourselves. We can't change ourselves by making ourselves feel better because we've now told somebody else how horrible of a person they were, or how they were wrong, or whatever you want, whatever the problem is. That, it's been interesting because that was a real problem with me for a long time. I remember I'm certified as a yoga instructor, and I went through my yoga training. And for the first, I don't know, probably 3 months, every time I would do yoga, I would just like cry and cry and cry. I was getting rid of all of this pent up energy that I had not been able to get rid of. And through that, I realized that experience was showing me how I needed to be home to myself. I needed to love myself and not look to other people. That whole experience, again, anytime we do these kinds of transformational things, it brings us to a deeper level of understanding who we are and the areas within ourselves that we need to work on. And so through yoga, that was one of the things that really came out for me, is not feeling like I was less than because I let somebody step on me, or I was feeling less than because somebody cut me off or told me off or whatever, when really you do far better by looking at them and smiling and walking away, because you're showing that person what love is. You're showing that person that I don't have to make myself feel better to yell at you or to tell you you're a bad person like you're doing to me. I can just smile at you and remove myself from the situation. That doesn't make me less than. What makes me less than is if I make me less than, if I make myself wrong, if I say, but I have to take a stand. Sometimes we do have to take a stand, but how we take the stand is not by, putting our foot down or causing a ruckus. It's about how we conduct ourselves towards other people. How are we handling that situation? Are we doing it out of love? Doing it out of what's best for everybody? Or are we doing it because we need to look good, because we need to look right, because we need to prove ourselves? That's not coming from the heart space. That's coming from your ego. And then you're going to have that chatter going on. Well, I've done that, or I shouldn't have done that, or I should have done that better, but then I shouldn't have said this, but I said that. Now I shouldn't have said that. Oh, that was hard. How many of us go through those things when we get angry at somebody or we're trying to make a stand? So to take a stand doesn't mean that you have to be angry or prove something or cut somebody off or act in a bad way. It's about how we react, and are we coming from a loving place? Because it's not about coming from a loving place for the other person. The other person benefits from us coming from a loving place, because what we're really doing is coming from a loving place within ourselves. And we're honoring ourselves. It's almost like the other thing I did. I mean, we learn so much through life. I did a martial arts for many, 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 many years. And I loved it. And I'm really thinking about going back, but that's another story. And one of the things that's so important in a martial arts, it's about using somebody's weight against themselves. It's not about you using force against them. It's really simple. It's like doing mediumship. You don't force that communication. You don't make that communication happen. You allow that communication to come to you. You are aware of that communication coming to you. And that's the way that we should be living our lives. It's like, being a monk. It's about the peace, right? I mean, we're people and we're here for experiences, so we're not going to do it right. We're going to make mistakes. That's a part of what we're here for. Yeah, I know. Angie, we all have to work on this. I think it's something that we work on through our life. I don't think it's something that, I think we could become closer and closer and closer to it. Do we actually master it? I don't know. I would hope that we can, but I don't know that we can, because I feel like each experience, see, one of the things that I've learned, this is from my experience and my belief system, is that we didn't, in the great cafe in the sky, as we're all sitting there having coffee together, say, hey, let's go down to earth and have this plush life and not have to do anything. Let's just go have fun. That's not what we did. We could have stayed in the great cafe in the sky, but we came here to experience things for a reason, because each time we do something, we're learning something from it. Each experience that we had. And that's, again, not listening to that chatter, not having that you should have, you could have, your fault, my fault, that goes on in our mind. It's about understanding what happened and then learning from that experience and doing it within love, doing with from your heart space, not from your mental space. I hope that explains it a lot. I feel like, I know this is something that everybody talks about and we all experience it, but it's something that really hit me over the last couple, I think, months, about how so many of us we put excuses of how we should be doing something better, or I feel like I can't move forward, or I feel like I'm in a funk, or I feel like I'm stuck. I feel like I'm not understanding something, or I feel like I'm not moving forward. We all get into those moments of time, but when we do that, no matter what situation we're in, I really believe no matter what situation we're in, if we could go back to our heart center and say, what is the most loving thing for me to do? I know I have a mentor who taught me that a long time ago, and it's something that I've truly lived by. But when we could go really into that brain within our heart and listen to our life from that place, and not be afraid to do the things that we really want to do, and stop the chatter that's going on in our head, then we're going to get a lot farther than what we do when we're in that rut. And we all know about it, right? It's that hamster wheel that we go around and around and around constantly in, and one that we have trouble getting out of. And so that's something that I have really learned. Yeah, it is a life lesson for sure. You put it there. Spirit Cave. All right, everybody. Jacqueline's webpage is spiritcave.ca. Is that what it is? I even have my glasses on. It's in the chat, so look it up. It's www.spiritcave.ca, it looks like. I'm sorry, Jacqueline. Make a big A if it's an A, or an O if it's an O. I think it's CA. So anyway, that is something I wanted to talk about. I had notes. I didn't even look at my notes, which is pretty normal for me, is not to look at my notes. I think I covered. Does anybody want to chat about something else? I've been saying a lot. Let's see. I've been talking 43 minutes. Oh my gosh. As you all know, I have the gift of gab. The gift of gab. It is CA. Okay. Yeah, I love that. Look at how big that is, Jacqueline. Awesome. That is big enough that even blind people can see now. I love it. And it'll be there on the chat. So you guys that are watching this, her website will be there on the chat too. So it will be there. Yeah, I think I covered it all. I hope that this has been helpful. Live in the moment. Live every moment. That also, I didn't even mention that. That is something that really does help us. And what does that mean, right? What does live in the moment mean? And how do we do that? Because none of us, I think, for me anyway. Oh, you're very welcome. Totally. Jacqueline is a wonderful person, you guys. Wonderful person. Wonderful, wonderful. It's about when something happens, and, you know, I really want to go back to the biggest thing here is that dialogue you have within your mind that you think is true, that you think is right, that you put a lot of credence into, that you believe, that's when you're not living in the moment, because you're listening to that, right? You're listening to whatever's going on and believing one side or the other, but both sides are you. So you're really listening to both, but usually have one opinion or the other, but that great double thing is going on because we're always, contradicting ourselves in a lot of ways. But living in the moment is about right where you're at and trying not to go too far ahead or judging too far ahead. It's really appreciating where you're at. And I know we don't always do that. We always either go, oh, I should do, or I can't do, or yeah, tomorrow I'm going to do. I mean, we do that. But when you're in a situation that you're not really sure how to handle, it's about really coming back into the now and being in that still place and not worrying about what's going to happen. And again, it's about realizing when that chatter is coming up. What is that chatter trying to tell you? What are you most afraid of? What is the thing that's the most triggering to you? And being able to just stay in the, I'm right here right now. I'm safe right now. I'm taken care of right now. I don't have to be worrying about it right now. And try to stay within that place. And it takes practice. This is not something that, like we said earlier, I don't know if we ever get perfect at it, but we damn well could get a lot better than we are. I know that I'm a lot better than when I started this journey. So you do get better with practice, but it is staying right where you're at right now, and don't go too far into the future or too far into the past. And that's one thing that can help. So try to live in the moment. And really, so the biggest takeaways is know that chatter that's going on, that dialogue, that influencer is not really there to help you. It's there to make you chaotic. That's the way I would put it. To really know that you do not have to do anything. You're not forced to do anything. Nobody can make you do anything. We choose to do it. We choose to react. We choose to not react. We choose that I'm not going to be taken advantage of, or I'm going to rightfully take my place, which is all coming from fear. Or we choose to come from our heart place, which is almost like, as you're doing martial arts, where you're just deflecting. You're just deflecting the energy away from you. It's not something that you have to attach to. There's no reason to attach to anybody else's belief system or anybody else's thoughts about you or anybody else's anger. There's no reason to attach to that. And the way to do that is to stay within your now and know who you are, and to really have control over the chatter in your mind, and realize when that chatter is going on that you can change that dialogue. You can change what's going on in your head. So try to practice that. Let me know what you think about it. I would like to hear your comments about this, and some of the ways and tools that you've been able to work with this. I know for me, immediately as soon as I start feeling this tightness, restriction, you know what it is, right? You always feel it right here, or you get it in your head, this tightness and restriction. That's when I take some breaths and I just go into my heart center and say, I'm not a part of this. I don't have to defend myself. When I have to defend myself, immediately is when I go inward and say, what part of me, hi, Dawn, what part of me is feeling like I need to defend myself? What part of me is feeling threatened here? What part of me is not feeling safe? What part of me is being triggered? And that's when I can go into more of a positive direction than a negative one. If I allow that trigger to take over, if I allow that to start flustering in myself, then that's when I'm going to lash out. That's when I'm going to be a cobra. That's when I'm going to take my rightful stand, if you want to say. But when I can just stand within my, I think, the truth of who I am, and that nobody can do anything to me that I don't give them permission to do. So I have to be able to own that. I have to be able to own that I have that control to walk away. I have to own the fact that I have the control to be able to not own it. I have to really have the confidence within myself that I'm okay, whether that person agrees with me or not, likes me or not, wants to whatever. You put the word in there, so you have control over it. You're the one who gets to control your life and how you respond to other people. They don't control it for you. So I hope that has been helpful. It's been fun talking with everybody. And I hope everybody's doing well. Oh, Suzanne just ordered something. Yay. What did you order? What are you selling, Jacqueline? Yes, living in the moment, Angie, definitely. Living in the moment. That's what we strive for, living in the moment. It's something that we all definitely have to work on. And, we all do better at times. And, we're human. We're going to fall sometimes. I mean, there are some people who still very easily can push my buttons, and I'm working on that. I absolutely know who they are. Oh, you know what I was going to do? Maybe I'll do it next time. Oh, I was going to post that. The video I said last week I'm going to post it either tonight or tomorrow. I just have to have the time to write what I need to write because it's a good one. Oh, you're driving. Okay. I'm going to have to go. I'm going to go check out your website. I haven't been on it. I didn't know you had it up. I knew you had started a business, but I didn't know you had your website up. Suzanne, what are you doing? Anybody else want to promote their website and what they do here? Angie? Yeah. Sometimes we it's hard to not push back. I'm going back and looking at some of your comments. I missed a couple. I tried to watch, but I missed some. But yeah, it's hard not to push back. But again, if you do push back, because we do, like I said, some people are able to push my just hanging. That's good. That's important too. Hanging out. Yeah, for sure. It's sometimes hard to keep it under control because we are human. But the thing that I do after that is I go back and say, okay, what part of me was triggered? How could I have handled this differently? What do I need to work on? So you use those. See, again, it's never about something outside of yourself. It's always about what's going on inside of you. So that's when I go in and say, what do I need to work on? What's going on? Where do I feel like I'm not being fulfilled or, I'm lacking in something? Have I been doing my inner work? And I don't feel like it's something that, there's certain things that we work on and I think that we get tested on. We'll have an opportunity to, I don't feel like we get tested, but excuse me, weird things are happening, that we get, that happens that we react to. And then that's when we are able to go back and we're able to see what's going on within ourselves and work on that. So don't ever think it's outside of yourself. 100% of the time, I'm telling you, it's hard to do. Sometimes you'll have situations that happen and you're like, how the hell is that not about them? That's when you really have to go deep. And I have had that before where it's like, hell no, that's not about me. That is totally about them. That is a big, big deal, Suzanne. That totally, your spiritual awakening it's a lifelong thing, but it is a lot of work, especially when you're first waking up and you're like, oh my God, I didn't see how off track I had become. But you look back and you go, yeah, I get it. And we always are on that path of figuring it out. What are we doing and why are we here? What's overwhelming, Suzanne? What's scary, Jacqueline? I'm going to go on your website as soon as I should go on your website while I'm here. I can multitask. I think I can. Yeah, what's overwhelming and what's scary? I'd like to know what you feel is scary and overwhelming. I know that when you first start your path, it's the part that's overwhelming is realizing you've been lied to all your life. Yeah. Ah. Uh-huh. Well, that's interesting that you both said what you said. So I'm going to go with you first, Jacqueline, because what you don't know, you actually do know. It's just you didn't remember because you needed to learn it as a soul. So you always know. It's just we forget certain parts of life so we can learn them. So don't say you didn't know it. I'm sorry, you guys. This smoke is really getting to be bad. But the fun thing is, if you're able to just be the observer, you'll learn it a lot faster again, because it really isn't learning it, it's remembering it. But and have good people around you, because you're going to have a lot of questions. Yeah, I'm sure. It feels like you are. You're going to have a lot of questions, especially you, Jacqueline. I really feel like you're going to have a lot of questions, because I feel like what you're learning right now is really like soul stuff, like for next lives to come. Like this is like really big stuff that you're learning, and that you're going to learn it to the point where you won't have to repeat it again. So the only thing I would say is that don't get frustrated with it, because I know that I got frustrated with it in the beginning, because I am very hard on myself. I don't like it when I don't understand things. Really annoys me. And I wanted it now, and you can't. It's like, Jacqueline, with mediumship, that you can't do it all now. The more that we work at it, the more that we learn. Like I have been in this rut with my mediumship where I felt like I was rushing through it too fast. Almost like the analogy I realized yesterday, it's like when you're doing something that you're afraid to do and you do it really fast, so you just like want to get through it. And that's not what you want to do with mediumship. So it's like I really sent my attention out for the past month to slow it down and to be a lot more connected. And I had good days and bad days. And yesterday I just was like, okay, dudes, my team, this is my thing now. It's slowing down and really getting this essence. And it was an amazing experience. But the thing about it was, now that I've done it, I'm still going to have my, your jumps that you have. But now that I did, like, okay, I understand. I felt it. I feel what it is I need to do. I feel what I've been doing wrong. And so that's how we learn. So I feel like, you're learning it and you have the ability to learn it, but don't rush it, because if you rush it, you're going to miss it. And I rushed a lot at the beginning of my awakening. I had an amazing mentor who really was, she was just so amazing with me, because I was a pain in the ass. I wanted it faster. I didn't understand, because it's almost like, I don't know if you can relate, Jacqueline, but it's almost like but you don't know, right? It's like I'm on both fences here, both sides of the fence here. And it's like your gut, it's like that initial gut action. And so, but you haven't experienced it. You have to feel it in the core of who you are, that, because now I'm light years from where I was when I started, and my whole belief systems are completely different now. And give me anybody, I'm gonna stand up against it. And part of what I'm gonna post is to what I'm speaking about right now. But it really is important that you really take your time and follow your team to be able to learn it in a way that's going to be really true and deep to you, because this feels like really deep lessons for you. So really take your time at it, because I know you, Jacqueline, and I know each other. And I know that you have calmed down though a lot. I saw you in the last class with Charlie that you've really calmed down, but that you're very excited and zealous to want to get this and to get it right, and you're hard on yourself. So enjoy it and try to enjoy every step of it, because that's where you're really going to get the nuggets. And it's going to keep unfolding all through your life. It's just going to, all of us, it's just going to keep unfolding and keep unfolding and keep unfolding. And for you, Susanna, I do feel like, I feel like your nervous system is just a real wreck right now. I feel like, I want to say you need to take more baths. And the only reason that I'm saying baths is because you need to calm your nervous system down. Your nervous system is pretty fired up right now. So try to take baths. But I also think for you, because I feel like you do pretty good in meditation. I don't know, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you do pretty good in your meditations. Yeah, your team is amazing. And that, I feel like that relationship, Jacqueline, is a lifelong, again, relationship. I just had an amazing experience with actually knowing who someone on my team was, which rocked my world. I've been having them for a long time, been with them for a long time. Anyway, Susanna, I feel like you need to breathe through it for you. You need to really let your system relax. You need to relax. And again, it's the same with Jacqueline. No, it's all going to happen at the right time, but your nervous system is really on fire. I also feel like you're being stretched to I feel like a lot of your old beliefs are really being challenged. Yeah, meditation would be really good for you. Absolutely. Sit in meditation. How do you do your meditation? Wait a minute. Yeah, I could feel it. Your nervous system is I don't know how to describe it. It's not like it's on fire, or it's just really lit up. It's really lit up. How do you do your meditations? What are you doing for meditations? I knew I had a team, but I didn't feel like I needed to know my team. I feel like my team knew me. I don't know why, it doesn't sound right, but that they were with me and that I could trust them. So I didn't really know my team. I never felt like I needed to have a name. I just knew my team, if that makes sense. I didn't feel like I needed to know every one of them and know their names and what they do. And I didn't, because I just felt like it was my team and I knew they were with me. And so over this last weekend, I was like, holy shit. I got to know who one of my team members was, because this particular team member wants to work with me more in depthly. And so it was really an amazing experience. So what I would do, Suzanne, for you is I would sit and just try to sit in the quiet where you're not doing anything. And I mean, it's like a practice to sit in the quiet, because your mind always wants to go off and do whatever. But it feels like with your nervous system and even your team's going to work with you on this. So don't be worried about it. But if you just sit in the quiet with quieting your mind and just going inward into who you are, then I think that's going to do a lot of good for you. And you're not going to do it perfectly. So don't be there oh, dang, I didn't sit in the quiet and the stillness. But I feel like, because you're being downloaded a lot, you got a lot of stuff, you do that. Okay. You got a lot of download going on. So really try, or sometimes I feel like for me, I know when my mind isn't going to work. So I will definitely use some kind of music. I don't like anything when I'm doing my meditation. I usually just like the quietness. But sometimes I go through this period of time where my mind won't settle down. And so I'll put on some kind of meditation. I don't like guided meditations. I'm annoyed by them. They take me out of what I'm working on with my team. but I do listen to music, and I'll be very picky about my music too, because I can tell with my nervous system whether I'm being triggered by it or if it's really helping me. And I know what music that I need that will calm me. So you do that a lot. Okay. So yeah, oh no, that's still the one you said. So try doing that if you can't quiet your mind, but I don't know that we ever get quiet, but your nervous system really needs to like settle down. So you're definitely being downloaded on a lot of information. So yeah, I do that too. And the other thing, I don't know if you do this, Suzanne, but I really feel like it would help you is to write. And the other thing is so funny. I was going to mention this and I forgot, but clearly it was supposed to come up. I have a trash journal. Like when I get really frustrated with something and I just need to get this energy out and I don't really have a way to do it because I'm not going to do it in a way that's going to hurt somebody else. Theoretically, doesn't mean I'm perfect at that. But I have a trash journal and I write it like everything. And then I rip it up and burn it because I don't want, this negative energy. And that really helps to get things moving out of me. So either journaling, and I used to do this, I need to do it more. I used to do it more when I first started my journey, is I let spirit work through me in my journaling. And I used to write a lot. It feels like that would be something that would be good for you. Yeah, I don't like any online meditations. I do iAwake. I don't know if you've heard of iAwake, but I have iAwake music they have all different kinds of the waves that work on your brain waves at different points, whatever you're working on. And they have some that are very more calming. And I like to use those because my brain is really active and I can't quiet it down. Then it works on my brain to quiet it down. And then I could just, whew. Oh, I love kinds of meditations. You are really releasing a lot of energy. Absolutely. Yeah, I like iAwake. I have quite a few iAwake stuff. There's a lot of them out there. That's just what I have and it works for me. Yeah, you have a lot going on. I would give yourself a break right now because you feel like you're downloading. You're like, I feel like you're doing a lot of astral traveling and work with your guides at night, and you're being downloaded a lot of information. I feel like you're changing like major stuff in your nervous system, major like lifelong learned stuff. Are you changing major belief systems, Suzanne? I feel like you are. That's one of the biggest things that we do, Jacqueline, is, our team has always been our team and always with us. But as humans, we have to develop that trust and get to know them again. And so trust, I think, as you know, as we do all of this kind of work, is a really big deal. I'm waiting to see if Susan is changing major belief systems, like not small stuff, like big stuff. Like, wow, I grew up this way and now I'm seeing it this way. That took me a long time. That's something that I went through, was really big belief set. It didn't change, I should say, my beliefs. It helped me to understand them better. 100% for you, Jacqueline. Yeah, it helped me to understand it. But I think that we're always like, the pendulum's always swinging. We're always swinging as we understand things more. Yeah, I feel like you are doing that, understanding it differently, in a different way. But just keep doing it what you're doing. You're both on a really good track. So keep doing what you're doing. You're, again, as long as we're breathing on this planet, we're going to keep learning. As long as we're breathing, we're going to keep seeing things in a different way and, understanding things in a different way. So definitely just keep doing what you're doing. And because the thing is, my belief system not everybody believes me on this one. I don't feel like we do it wrong. I feel like there's many roads that lead to Rome, but eventually we're going to get there. It's, what road do you choose to, never stop learning. What road do you choose to take? You may have missed this road, but now you caught this road, so you're going to take that road. And that road is going to lead you to another road. And we give you a better understanding about something or a different understanding about something. And, and again, it all has to come. One of the things that I would say for anybody listening to this is about not taking on other people's beliefs. You have to come up with the beliefs yourself. It has to come from within you, which is including your team. We all have a team of guides, and we all listen to them and work with them, and they all have different jobs that help us in different parts of our life. And some of them come and go, some of them don't. That's my belief system. And so they're constantly working and changing who we are and how we see things and what we do. So, we're always evolving, I think, as human beings. So I don't know if any of you guys watch Cash Peters. If you watch Cash Peters, he does this amazing thing where he does transition pictures. And he goes back into people's lives about what it was like for them to transition back into spirit. And it's really amazing. Don't ask me why I thought of that, but I did. It's really amazing to watch him do that. And sometimes he looks through the eyes of the people. It's really intriguing. And the reason I thought of that is I look forward to going back in my right time. I'm not doing anything soon, but in the right time, I'm looking forward to going back home and seeing what that's all about. And I often ask my team, it's like, what is it like over there? And when I actually interview Richard, Janine Lane's guides, I always try to ask questions about what's it like on the other side. It's amazing. Anyway, you guys, it's been wonderful. Hey, it's 1:11. I've been on for an hour and 11 minutes. I should have stopped at 11:11. 1:11:11. Anyway, thanks for being here. Yeah, exactly. See, when I grew up, we couldn't listen to any other beliefs. We couldn't. It was only one belief, period. That was it. That's the only way. And then I went into a more strict religion who did that even worse. A lot to say about that one. Actually, one day I have to have my daughter on. I've been asked by several people to have her on, and she said she would, so I need to do it. But she will crack you up about the way that we raised her based on stupid beliefs. Although it was important time because it was a part of my development, and I have a better understanding, compassion for other people. But absolutely that you should make your own beliefs, definitely. Don't believe what anybody tells you. You prove it to yourself. That's how you really know what's really truthful. And there's a lot of ways to do that. There's a lot of ways. And a lot of it is, don't be so confined to one thing. It's not just one church's idea or one political idea or one anybody's idea. It's listening to the collective, and then you go with what works for you. What are you understanding the truth to be? And that isn't, I want it this way, so therefore I'm going to believe it this way. It's like, no, what really sings to your heart? What really sings to your soul? That is what the truth is. And then you start testing it. I've tested all this stuff. Oh my God, my mentor will tell me. When I first started with her, I would try testing her in we laugh about it now, every way possible. I was going to prove this all wrong, let me tell you. And I was glad I did, because by trying to prove it wrong only made me stronger in it, because I couldn't. And the more that I would look at it in that way, the more that spirit would work with me, because I was open to the truth. I was open to what is the truth. So that's how we learn, is challenge it, test it, ask questions, look at other things, ask about, how does this work for you? How does it feel for you? Does it feel uncomfortable? Does it feel like it makes sense to you? And then if it makes sense to you, then you work on it for a while and you decide, is this really working for me or not working for me? So, and then the more that you are in the right path, and the more you learn about that, then the more you can actually talk to other people. Oh my God, if I would have done this like even 2 years ago, I would have been a mess. What I just said, exactly. And there, you're right. There is some truths in every different religion, for sure, hands down. There is for sure. And a lot of religions that think they have it right are really saying something another religion is saying. So I love it. Okay, you guys, it's been fun. Thank you, you 4 people that have been here with me. Thanks for chatting. This wasn't card night. Let's see. So next Friday, I'm doing cards with Adrian Cobb. And so we will be live for that. I did post that I'm doing a mediumship event with 2 other mediums on October 30th or the 31st. 30th, I think. It's on my webpage. And Marsha Johnson and I had so much fun with you guys last week. Oh, we had so much fun that we decided we're going to do it every other week. So every other week on Friday, starting the 8th, we're going to do card readings. So we'll be doing that here. You can catch it on YouTube or Facebook Live. So if you have questions, just come on and join us, and then we'll answer your questions. We usually do it right now anyway, until we answer everybody's questions. So we will be doing that every other week. I think there's 1 week, though, that she won't be able to do it, the 19th, I think. But other than that, we're going to do it every other week, and we're looking forward to it because we just had a blast last week. You guys are so great. All right. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Have a great rest of the week. We have 1 more day and weekend. Have a great weekend, and I will catch you next week. Next week, I'm not going to have my live on Thursday. I'm going to have my live on Monday. So I better get on that one, actually. But I have someone scheduled, and it's happening Monday on the 27th. So be looking for that. I don't know what I'll do Thursday. I'll wait and see. But the my interview live show will be on Monday, the 27th. All right. Thanks, everybody.